Welcome, everyone. I am Walt Disney World Ambassador, Serena Arvizu, and this is the magic of EPCOT at night. Let's hear that excitement. Well, we are so honored to welcome you here this evening as one of the first guests to experience Portraits of Courage, a commander's tribute to America's warriors, from the paintbrush of none other than President George W. Bush. How incredible is that? Now, as many of you know, we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. That's right, over 100 years of storytelling and magic. And spanning that entire century, there has always been a deep love, admiration, and respect for U.S. military service members, veterans, and their families. And that spans all the way back to the very beginning, with our founders, Walt and Roy O. Disney, who both served their country during the First World War. Now, as you look around at these portraits this evening, we are so honored to have you here and to be hosting them as just another chapter in that enduring tradition. So to introduce Portraits of Courage, I'm pleased to welcome this evening's guest speaker, the Director for Veterans and Military Families at the George W. Bush Institute. He had a unique and full military career, which he led soldiers in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan, taught economics to West Point cadets, directly advised the 18th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the Pentagon, and personally staffed President Barack Obama, President Donald J. Trump, and Vice President Joe Biden while at the National Security Council and Council of Economic Advisors in the White House. In addition to his role at the Bush Institute, he is a fellow at the John G. Tower Center for Public Policy and International Affairs at SMU, and a visiting scholar on economic statecraft at Texas A&M's Bush School of Government and Public Service. He and his wife Samantha have been married for over 20 years and have 2 teenage children, and they are very proud to share that they are indeed a Disney family. Now, if you'll please join me in welcoming Jason Galui.
Welcome and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm super excited to be here at the official opening of Portraits of Courage, Commander-in-Chief's tribute to America's warriors. It's really exciting to have this strong partnership between Disney and the Bush Institute. Portraits of Courage, and the individual portraits that you see around you, represent a heartfelt tribute from President Bush to the millions of men and women who have served in our military, many of whom volunteered to serve after September 11, 2001 during his administration. The portraits you see are personal to him. President Bush knows each and every one of these veterans you see on these walls. I encourage you to learn their stories and the stories of veterans that you may know in your communities. I just want to highlight 2 veterans on these walls of the 98 that are depicted here. The first is a gentleman named Saul Martinez, whose portrait is actually at the back wall as we exit on the left, swinging a golf club. Saul had a dream. He achieved his dream job of being an Army infantryman. He deployed to Iraq, where he lost both of his legs. He attributes his recovery to his wife never leaving his bedside. When they got home, he attributes his resilience to her just giving him 3 words. He was on the couch, and she put the vacuum in front of him and said, "Hey, you need a vacuum." And he said to her, "How am I supposed to do that?" I think as many of us would say, if we had no legs and we're on the couch, what do we do? And she said to him, "Figure it out." And Saul, from that moment forward, has figured it out. Saul is a budding actor and comedian, and in fact, he was in the 2022 movie, Men in Line, which is about recovery of veterans through nature, specifically fly fishing, which is something Saul loves to do. Another portrait I want to highlight is Melissa Stockwell, whose portrait is behind this you see behind the pillar here with dancing with President Bush after a 100-mile bike ride. Melissa joined the Army at age 24 when we think we're all invincible. She realized that wasn't the case and she lost a leg in Iraq. She overcame her challenge, she overcame her injury by founding a triathlon company, nonprofit organization, became an avid swimmer and runner, and on September 11th, 2016, 15 years after 9/11, she represented Team USA as a Paralympian at Rio de Janeiro on the triathlon team. Amazing stories. And that's really what I want you all to take away as you look at these portraits, is that these faces and names that you see, there are stories behind them. And everyone who serves in our military represents a story, just like all of you have a story. President and Mrs. Bush charged our team at the Bush Institute. As you heard Serena say, I lead the Veterans and Military Family Team. Our charge is to bring to life the love, care, and commitment that President and Mrs. Bush have for veterans and their families. And we do so by helping veterans in their transition back to civilian life. Our signature effort, which you've also seen posted on the walls when you enter the rotunda, is something called Check-In. Check-In provides access to no-cost, high-quality mental and brain health for veterans, service members, and their families. Our country has a mental health crisis. The military is a subset of our nation. And so President and Mrs. Bush have dedicated the rest of their lives to caring for those who have put on the uniform. And so if you check out go to www.veterancheckin.org, you can share that website with those in your communities, and you can connect them with care that they may need, or they may not even realize that they need, like me. My wife in 2012 said, you need to get some help. I can't do it. It's kind of beyond my scope. And fortunately, my wife knew my experiences. She also is a combat veteran. And together, we continue to figure it out, just like Cyril and his wife. So I thank, on behalf of President and Mrs. Bush, on the entire team of the George W. Bush Institute, I thank you for making time tonight to come here to the official opening of Portraits of Courage. And a special thanks to Disney and the Voices of Liberty, and everyone that has brought to life this display of resilience on behalf of our great country. So thank you, Serena, and thank you to all of you for making time tonight.
What people are really going to experience when they see these portraits here tonight. And I do want to take a moment to thank you for everything that you've done to serve and support this country and your family as well. Thank you very much, Jason. So with that, we invite you all to an exclusive opportunity to experience Portraits of Courage, and in honor of the new exhibit, EPCOT proudly presents performing traditional patriotic fare, Jacksonville's own Navy Band Southeast Fairwinds